Hey guys, thogden here, welcome back to a brand new video. Now today, we're going to be going through every single Premier League club and picking one player they have to sell in January. You looking forward to it?
It's going to be a good one, and because of that, I'd like 9,000 likes.
We'll probably hit that.
You're not that impressed.
We'll probably...
10,000 likes.
Okay, now that's too much. Now you're taking the piss. But one thing you should do is subscribe. You know why? We're trying to hit 500,000 subs. Yes, 500,000. Every subscriber makes a difference, don't they?
Absolutely, and also subscribe to the Thogdad channel.
Highlights are on there of all the streams, do not miss it, and let's get into Arsenal.
Yeah, Arsenal. Now, I've gone for an attacking midfielder who came from Real Madrid 8 years ago, and he's been a great servant most of the time. But recently, last few months, he's been sat around doing nothing and taking a wage of 350,000 a week.
I think I know the name. That's correct. And it's a real shame. When this guy goes, it's going to be a huge loss for the Premier League. I've gone with the same man, Mesut Ozil. The German lad, he's got, massive connections with Turkey as well. I really hope he moves to Fenerbahce because he deserves to go to a club where he's loved, where he's allowed to play every single week, and somewhere that really respects him, and that's where his heart is at. He loves Istanbul. I hope he doesn't go to DC United because as much as ending your career in America, MLS and all that is nice, Fenerbahce is where his heart is at. I hope that man ends his career on a high because he's such a legend. I've been in London the last few years, and all the Arsenal fans, I've seen him in his prime, the way he plays, nobody's like him. Nobody can replicate it, right? Yeah, and his stats in FPL used to be brilliant. Mesut Ozil, good luck. Aston Villa, and I've gone for a 30-year-old central midfielder called Henry Lansbury. Now, he's on 40 grand a week and he's getting nowhere near the bench. He's only playing the EFL Cup. Time to move on. I completely agree, Dad. We agree on the second one. He's getting a bigger wage than the likes of Ezri Konsa. He hasn't played in 4 months. It's time to get him out. Brighton and Hove Albion. I've gone for a lad who cost 17 million from Alkmaar 3 years ago. And you know the problem with your handbash? Is that the Iranians are now going to kill you for saying that? Absolutely murder you. No, the problem is he's not quite good enough for the Premier League. Oh, Thog Daddy said it. I mean, I had nothing to do with it. The Iranians came for me and I'm not allowed to say anything bad about it. Listen, I'm just going to go with Matty Ryan, the Australian goalkeeper. Ooh. He's already been replaced by Robert Sanchez. He's one of the worst goalkeepers in the Premier League. And quite frankly, Brighton are trying to stay up. They're in a relegation battle and he's cost them too many mistakes and too many goals. And they'd probably go down if he stayed there the whole year round. They've even put in Robert Sanchez at the moment. They need to go sign a new keeper and sell him. Get him out. Burnley now. And I've gone for a 28-year-old Czech international who was great when he played for Derby and Watford and Reading. He was banging in the goals, but he's fallen down the pecking order, hasn't he, at Burnley? Mate Vidra. Who've you gone for, Theo? I've gone for 10k likes, Dog Dad. Absolutely smash it. Get it done. And for Burnley, I've gone for Mate Vidra, completely the same as you. And the same reasoning, he's just not Premier League standard. Chris Wood, Ashley Barnes and Jay Rodriguez are, a level above. And, some clubs in the Championship could do with a Vidra. So get him out. Chelsea now, and I've chosen a lad who came from Fiorentina for 21 million quid 5 years ago. And before that, he was with Bolton Wanderers' Marcus Alonso. Oh. Now, he's a good player, but recently he's the third choice left back after Emerson. And you know what? I think he's fallen out with Frank Lampard, hasn't he, Theo? I was sure you were going to go with Kepa, I just thought you'd say him. Have you gone for Kepa? No, I went for somebody different because I thought you'd go for Kepa. I've gone for Fikayo Tomori. Yeah. The young centre-back who's simply not getting any game time this season. We've seen him play in the Premier League regularly under Lampard previously, but since he signed Thiago Silva and Kurt Zuma's got himself in the first team, that just hasn't changed. Tomori's had no minutes, and simply he should go for the sake of his career because I think Tomori has a lot of potential. I think he's a very decent centre-back and he doesn't get in the team, and I think it's quite unfair from Lampard the way he's treating it. He just doesn't seem to want to give him any sort of game time. He should go for the sake of his career and maybe he can live up to his potential. Yeah, but isn't it a shame when these young lads have moved on and not given any game time? It's a shame. Crystal Palace now, and I've gone for Patrick Van Aanholt, otherwise known as Patrick Van Thogdad. Now, his contract is up very soon, and Palace fans say his positioning has really cost the team points this season. And that's why the last 2 games, Tyrick Mitchell's come in and played that role even better. Patrick Van Aanholt is time to be sold. His contract's over in the end of the season, so you might as well get a bit of cash in January. And with Mitchell being a better fullback too in that same position and being younger with more potential, you might as well just sell Van Aanholt now. Everton now, and this lad cost 20 million quid from Beşiktaş a couple of years ago. He's brilliant for Turkey. He's not very good for Everton.
Cenk Tosun. He hasn't scored in about a year, has he, Theo?
Yeah, since Big Sam went, it just wasn't the same for him. You know, he brought him in as a target man. There's probably other Premier League clubs that could do with the target man. Maybe the return of Big Sam, you know, going over to West Brom. That's what we said in our other video. But yeah, coming into this, I think it's simple. Cenk Tosun is the man that has to go. Right now, he's offering nothing to the modern day tactics of what Ancelotti's putting into Everton. He has to go. Simple as that.
Fulham now, and this centre-back has been a legend at the club for 6 years. He was at Bolton before that. He's a USA international. Tim Ream, you've been great, but time to move on. Your contract's nearly up.
You went with the Bolton player.
I know.
It's harsh. Are you allowed to do that? Why are you going for Tim Ream?
I've broken some rules. It's more to do with age, and the contract is up soon. You know what? He can drop down a division or two and be brilliant for another 5 years.
That is a big statement, and I mean it this time. The man I've gone for is Josh Onomah. Now, the reason I've said him is because he had 2 starts at the start of the season. He didn't play well in them, and he's not had any other game time for Fulham this season, and there's a reason for it. He's not Premier League level. He was good, he was alright in the Championship last season, and since then, he hasn't been the same. He might as well go to a Championship club because that's more of his level. Off your pop, son.
Time to go, 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 time to go. Get lost. Theo, have you ever heard of Osim Boy?
No.
Well, he plays for Leeds, right? He used to play as a Netherlands international at youth level. He's eligible to play for Morocco. He just never plays for Leeds. He's on the books. Time to go. I'd never even heard of him until Leeds fans wrote to me.
I've gone for somebody that they need to get rid of, right? These Leeds lot, you know. Tyler Roberts. Get out, son. Ooh. He's just not the same level as their other attacking kind of midfield and also, you know, forward-minded players. They've got better options. He had a few games at the start of the season, hasn't got into Bielsa's team since, and there's a reason for that. He's not really Premier League level. Off your pop, son. Tyler Roberts. They've got different gravy now.
Leicester City now, and this lad came from Sporting Club de Portugal 5 years ago for 28 million quid. He's an Algerian international, bags loads of goals for his country.
Okay.
But for Leicester, he scored 8 times in 5 years. Islam Slimani.
Why do you think he should be the one to go?
Because he's just not doing it, Theo. He's just not getting picked. And he can go somewhere else. He can drop down a division or go to a lesser league in Europe and score some goals.
And get him off the wage bill.
Yeah.
I understand that. I've gone for Damari Gray.
Yeah.
And the reason is he's a 24-year-old player who played a few more games over the last few years. But this season, he's only played once. And clearly, Brendan Rodgers, in his tactics, he doesn't fit into it.
Yeah.
They've got better options. Senghor, Pryor, Maddison, Harvey Barnes, the list goes on. So I think for his own career's sake, it's time to move on. Maybe like a Sheffield United or someone that will regularly play him. He can bring, you know, creativity and pace and dribbling ability that we know is in him. But it's time to get out there and get some game time, son.
Liverpool now, and some people will say this is harsh, but stick with me. Oxlade-Chamberlain, the 27-year-old central midfielder, came from Arsenal for I think 34 million quid. You know what? He's just not lived up to his potential. Time to go. You can get good money for him now. He'll be brilliant at another club.
Wow, you went with the Ox.
The Ox, yeah.
Dad, he's a good squad player. He always puts in a shift when he's on the pitch. There's way more deadwood at Liverpool, like Divock Origi, who need to get out. Not Oxlade-Chamberlain.
Well, I disagree. The Ox has never quite made it, Theo.
Okay, what does the Ox not offer that Divock Origi does?
Well, I think the Ox has been very unlucky with injuries, but I also agree that Origi should go as well. Get rid of them both.
Origi needs to go, mate. I know he had a few special moments over the last few years. I get it. He's not the same player anymore, and that effect when he comes on now, it's not the same. He's just a bit of an average baller.
Yeah, I think Liverpool should be looking for exceptional and not just good.
Yeah.
And the Ox and Origi, I'm sorry, bank the money, spend it elsewhere. Manchester City now, in my choice, cost 52 million quid from Monaco 4 years ago and hasn't lived up to the price tag. Benjamin Mendy, you're not quite good enough.
You're giving up on Benjamin.
I am. Cancelo's a better player. I'd sell him now. I'd bank 25 to 30 million and I'd invest in a better player.
But Cancelo's a right back, Dad. That's where he played last game. I know he plays left back.
He can play either side, can't he?
I know he can, but Zinchenko's been playing left back recently. And you know what? There's definitely potential for Ben Mendy to get his place back. I know he's had a few shockers recently. Yeah. You know what that is. I'm not going to mention it. I've gone with someone else. I've gone with a man who's 19 years of age. When they signed him, they expected respected, so much potential, so, you know, the man to be there for years to come, you know, the basically successor of Vincent Kompany, and that is Eric Garcia. When he signed at City, I think from Barca, or wherever it was, he was meant to be the next big thing. He even got game time from very early on. Pep really backed him to be something special. And he's only had 2 starts this season, barely played recently, and he is linked with a move away from City. And I think it's time for him to go. If he goes to maybe the Spanish league, maybe Barcelona, who are currently linked with him, he will get game time there. Definitely more than City.
Can't believe you're giving up on a 19-year-old.
I'm not giving up on 19. I'm saying he should go for his career.
Yeah, and then City will buy him back for 50 million in 3 years.
When he's better, maybe. Who knows? Pep loves it, you know.
Manchester United now, and I'm going for a 28-year-old right winger who used to be an England international, and we all used to talk about him. It is, of course, Jesse Lingard.
Yeah, I agree.
Time to set him free, Theo.
Yeah, I think so. You know, he's been at United for absolutely ages, practically his whole career, apart from a few loan moves.
Yes.
And he's now 28 years old, turned that in December. He's getting on, and he's not getting any game time. He's not had a single Premier League appearance this year. It's time for him to get out and go somewhere fresh. You know, I know there's been a few problems here and there over the last few years with Man United. It's time to start new. Maybe a lower positioned Premier League side, like a Sheffield United, who could do with his great finishing ability on his day. Don't forget the goals he scored for United, like Arsenal away, which won them the game. And also his creativity in the attacking midfield, which someone like Lundstrom is doing at the moment for Blades. They could get so much more from Lingard. Switch him round, get it done. Lingard, there's a player in there, isn't there, Dan?
There is, Theo, but you know what? In about a decade at Man United, he's only scored 33 goals, and I just think he's above his level. Move him on, give him a chance.
Yeah, he's not United level anymore, that's for sure.
Newcastle now, and I've gone for Dwight Gale, who at Championship level was exceptional. 100 appearances, 75 goal contributions.
Great turnaround.
But he's just not a Premier League player, is he, Theo? And he's getting on, and his contract ends soon. Move him on.
He's doing a pookie, isn't he? Great goal scoring record in the Championship, but not so great in the Prem. He's scored a couple goals in the Prem this year. I might be wrong, but the reason I haven't picked him is because when Newcastle rotate, Dwight Gale has a finish in him. And he could turn up, give him 10 minutes, you know, sub him on for the last 10. You might get a goal from him. The man I've gone for, a lad who's only had 1 game this whole year, Paul Dummett, the Geordie. He's a left back, you know, like you said, he's a Geordie in the dressing room, I get that. But quite frankly, he's probably not good enough for the Premier League anymore, and he can go get better players. So get him sold. Get him down to maybe a Championship club, a lower Prem team, more of his level. They can do better. Sheffield United, and I've gone for a lad who was absolutely brilliant in the Championship, in Division 1, but at the Premier League, you know what? 4 goals he's got at that level. Billy Sharp, who is so good that Bolton fans have got a song about him. You know what? It's time to move on to a lower league club like Bolton, where you can be a hero for 3 or 4 years and bang some goals. I thought the Bolton fans said about him, I don't think he's getting a chance. Play the clip, Josh. Blades away, what a day.
You're probably wondering why all these Bolton fans are giving all these gestures and this song. Billy Sharp's coming on.
He's 34 years old, and sometimes emotion's got to be put to one side. Move him on.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think he's that good, but I wouldn't put him on there for the dressing room reason. Okay. He's a Sheffield United legend. You know, from the years behind. I've gone for a man that's been playing regularly for the Blades, and he's not performing. He doesn't offer much, and that's John Lundstrom in their midfield. He simply doesn't offer that much. A role, you know, a player like Lingard, who they're potentially linked with, could do so much more in that midfield role. You know, their midfield needs to be freshened up. Something's going wrong at the Blades, and he's part of that problem, but there's so many players you could go with, couldn't you? Yeah, Lundstrom's name came up a lot with Blades fans, but you know what, he's having a bad season, but last season he was immense. That's what I don't get as well. He did so well last year, but this year it ain't clicking, so get him gone. Southampton now, and I've gone for an Irish international and a legend. He came from Hull 7 years ago. He was great in the lower leagues, but Shane Long. We agree. We agree. The 33-year-old. This is what I'm thinking for him, right? If I was his agent, I'd be like, listen, lad, you're 33, you've had a good career, you've shown you can score goals, you've still got a bit of pace about you, you're only playing 1 or 2 games for Southampton. It's time to move on and get more regular game time. I'm thinking the MLS. Yes. Somewhere, like, I don't know, you know, a club that has money, that wants to bring in a player who knows how to hit the back of the net, still got a bit of pace about him, and one last payday before he ends his career. Tottenham Hotspur now, and it saddens me to say this, because the lad's 24 years old, used to be valued at 90 million quid. Going with him. And 2 or 3 years ago, I thought he would be one of the world's best players at this age. But Dele Alli, something's gone very wrong. You've gone with Dele Alli? I've gone with Dele Alli. So why do you think he should be the man to be sold at Spurs? Because it's not working. He needs a new environment, a new club, maybe a new country,
complimentary new manager. Daniel Levy can maybe get 30-35 million back. Move him on for his sake.
Maybe more. You know what, Dad? I completely agree.
Yeah.
I've gone with Dele Alli as well, and it's simple for me. The man needs to move on. He's got potential to be a top player. Jose Mourinho said it. Sir Alex said it.
Yeah.
He said, the successor manager of him when he went, the one thing I'd tell you to do to Man United is buy Dele Alli.
Yeah.
Like, that was the level that these top world-class coaches were seeing him and the potential he had in him.
Yeah.
Pochettino's just come in. You play with the likes of Neymar and Mbappe. You see the quality around them. You can link up with them. Look at what it's done to Moise Kean. World-class coaching. He doesn't know as many people in Paris. I think for Dele Alli's sake and the distractions and all of this, that is a great move for him. And I want to see him become the player that we know he can.
And all I can say, good luck, Dele Alli. West Bromwich Albion remains Sawyers. That name comes up again and again.
Straight up.
Apparently he's not showing enough passion.
Yeah.
He passes sideways or backwards. Move him on.
Yeah, I've gone with the exact same player, and because the West Brom fans were, like you say, they just absolutely put his message in again and again. And it's because he loves to pass backwards, and he doesn't love the forward pass. He doesn't get stuck into challenges, and he scored that crazy own goal. I'm just going to have to say so is.
West Ham United now, another controversial one coming up. This lad was brilliant in the Dutch league. He was brilliant in the German league, and he cost 45 million from Eintracht Frankfurt. Sebastian Haller. Theo, you must agree.
Wow, you went with Haller.
Yeah, and I'll tell you why. He's not quite PL level, Theo.
He's had a few good games this season when he's had to turn up. But you know what? I agree with you. And I've got reasoning here. If you were to sell Haller this month, you'd probably get maybe a Dutch club where he was before, or somewhere he can move to where he'd bang in the goals. Maybe a little bit less level than the Premier League, right? And they'd get some coin for him. And what they could do is reinvest that into a striker that fits David Moyes' system a little bit better. So they could only sell him knowing they're bringing in someone else.
Absolutely, Theo. They'd probably get 25-30 million, and you can buy a good striker with that money.
Bring in Donny Mallon.
And finally, Wolverhampton Wanderers. It's got to be Roderick Miranda.
Who?
Yeah, exactly. Who? In 3.5 years, I think he's played like 18 games.
All right.
I mean, he's just not playing.
You've got nothing else to say about that one, eh?
Yeah.
Well, I've gone with a more controversial one. Probably a more interesting one because you've just said a name that no one really knows. Might as well say James Smith from down the road. Like
don't sell him. Not Smith.
I've gone with a winger though. I've gone with Adama.
Oh, come on, Theo. No.
There's reasoning for why I've picked him, Dad.
Yeah.
You could get some very good coin for him in January.
Yeah.
People rate Adama Traore, but his actual ability is not on the same level as his price tag. What Wolves could get for him is much higher than the ability he brings to Wolves in and out.
Yeah.
This season he hasn't been that great.
No.
But, you know, you look at the likes of clubs in Liverpool and Juventus who have been linked with him and want him. Think about the money you could get for that and reinvest in potentially a new striker, because obviously Fabio Silva isn't cutting the mustard.
Yeah.
Imagine Podence, Pedro Neto, and a really good striker that they could invest in if they sold Adama Traore. That's my thinking for Wolves fans. Let me know what you think.
Wow, but he's fast, he's strong, he's a great dribbler. But you know what? I do agree his end product is not good enough yet.
Yeah, and he's a little bit obvious, I would say. Even Charlie Taylor was back-pocketing him, and it starts to get to a point where you think, hang on a minute, this is Adama versus Charlie Taylor. Right, that is it. We've been through every single Premier League club and saying which player we think should be sold in January. But if you support one of these teams, let us know. Not just in the Prem, any club in the world. Tell us your club down there and say which player you want to sell in your squad and why. Give us the most crazy and quirky reasons why. I mean, if you support a club in the Dutch league, tell us why you want a player gone. Is that right, Dad?
Yeah, maybe because you're Dutch. And you know what?
Yeah.
I'd like 10,000 likes.
Okay, I don't think we're hitting that, but if we do, I'll be flabbergasted. And also subscribe. We're trying to get to 500,000 subscribers. We're not going to hit it tomorrow, but if you subscribe, you'll make a difference, and that means a lot to us, doesn't it?
It really does. Let's hit it by March.
Wow, that is a huge step. That is a big statement, Dan. Right, listen, we'll see you down in the comments. That's enough of our waffle from two random geezers like us. We will see you all in a bit. Have a good night. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Go subscribe to the Thog Dad channel. Clips, highlights of the stream on there. Bye.